Good morning, everyone. My name is Pietro Alba. I am the president of Italian Chamber of Commerce and Industry for Turkey in Izmir. First, I would like to thank the Consul of Italy in Izmir, Mr. Valerio Giorgio, all the participants of this webinar, and the speakers who will talk about how you can invest in Italy. Mr. Murat Ergan, Mr. Lucio Ricci, Mr. Giovanni Di Nardo, and Mrs. Özgün Altop. The Italian Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Turkey in Izmir is a solid, essential reality in the landscape of commercial, economic relations between the two countries, well integrated in the Italian system and in full collaboration with the Italian diplomatic authorities and in Turkey and also each trade agency in Istanbul. The Chamber is currently engaged in different fronts. Is a true information of assistance service continuously to work with support all the Italian company, Turkish company who want to make trade between these two countries. The topic also on this webinar are extremely relevant in this historical moment and context. The world is changing rapidly, trade relations are constantly evolving, and the raw material, as you know, are increasing the price and the supply chain is changing rapidly. Also, the geographical location of the two countries, Italy and Turkey, represent an additional competitive strategic advantage for creating and developing a new business. We must also aid the excellent economic, commercial, and friendly relations between the two countries, and also the trade sometimes, but as you know, is often complementary in many aspects, Turkey and Italy. So the companies and the entrepreneurs needed to enlarge the view to have the new horizon behind of the border and to study how you can invest in other countries, how I can invest, how I can find the new investment solutions. Today's webinar aims to be the first step in understanding and knowing the regulations, the law, the topics you need to know to invest, to how you can invest in Italy in new market and how you can approach also the new Italian companies. The speakers today, they will give us an overview of how best to approach the Italian market and how you can have a chance to have the first contact with other companies. Thanks for your attention. I wish an excellent webinar to you, and I leave the floor to the Italian consul, Mr. Valerio Giorgio, for his speech. Thank you to all.
Thank you very much, Pietro. I hope the connection is good. Dear Mr. Pietro Alba, President of Italian Chamber of Commerce and Industry for Turkey, Izmir. Dear Mr. Ozan Murat Ergan, Commercial Consulate of General Consulate of the Republic of Turkey in Milan. Ms. Özgün Altop, Legal Advisor of Pollavini Altop Law Firm. Mr. Giovanni Di Nardo, International Business Development, Italian Association of Foreign Trade. Mr. Lucio Ricci, Financial Advisor of CPR Tale. Thank you very much for inviting me today. It's a big pleasure to open this webinar. Discussing with Mr. Pietro Alba how to address this webinar, we wouldn't know if it was better to highlight Italian excellences, why Italy is well known for industry in the world, or to give more a focus on the actual situation. We decided to focus. I decided to focus my opening remarks to the moment that Italy is living today, these days, with the National Recovery and Resilience Plan. It's a very important moment. I know that we are living. We're hoping that we are going out from the pandemic, and consequences of the war in Ukraine are very scary for all the human losses that we are witnessing and also are very uncertain for our future. But Italy in this moment is living a very, very important moment because it will receive to face the crisis and to help the recovery, it will receive the largest stimulus package ever from the European Union. It's a package of resources that Italy will receive that is the highest that the European Union has ever given to any other country. And the plan is called New Generation European Union, has the goal to support member states adversely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. The total fund is 750 billion euros and will operate from 2021 to 2023 and will be added to annual regular budget of the European Union. If you consider the European Union multi-annual financial framework and the next generation European Union, we are speaking about something like 1,824 billion of euros. It's an incredible amount of money. Italy will receive through the Next Generation EU and the National Recovery and Resilience Plan called Italian Domani, the highest amount of Next Generation EU, the highest amount of money or resources to build a valuable legacy for future generations in order to achieve a more robust, sustainable, and inclusive economic growth. The total value of National Recovery and Resilience Plan is 191.5 billion euros that Italy will integrate with a complementary fund backed by additional resources of 30 billion euros. So we're speaking about more than 200 billion euros. It's an incredible package. And I think that everyone who is in business in these days will be very happy to participate and to work with authorities that are that will spend this money. The goal is to have a more efficient and digitalized public administration, so that Italian citizens can benefit from more modern, sustainable, and widespread transport. Italia Domani will make the country more territorially cohesive with a more dynamic labor market and without gender or age discrimination. Public health will be more modern and closer to people. How this plan will work? The plan primarily consists of 6 missions or policy areas, which will correspond to the 6 pillars of the EU Next Generation Plan. These 6 pillars are digitalization, innovation, competitiveness, culture and tourism, green revolution and ecological transition, infrastructure for sustainable mobility, education and research, inclusion and cohesion, and health. I really believe that having the opportunity to be in Italy in the next 2 years, it's an incredible moment to see a change that our country will have with the resources that other countries are not having, and really will reshape Italy for the next years and for the next generation. Just to have an idea, Italy already achieved 51 milestones and targets indicated by the National Recovery and Resilience Plans for 2021 for the first schedule, and the first money is going to be delivered soon. I mean, President von der Leyen already announced that the first resources were going to deliver. So I think that for Turkish investors that want to be in Italy, want to have a step in Europe, want to share a market that will be more modern, more efficient, more digitalized, this is an extraordinary moment. It's true that we are facing big crisis. Pandemic's not over yet, and there's a war in Ukraine. But what is going on in Italy in these days is something extraordinary. And I hope that many people and companies could witness this incredible moment with terrific opportunities for everyone. I leave the floor to the speakers, and I wish you a very fruitful webinar for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valerio. Thank you. I think now Mr. Murat Ergan.
Yes, I want to give the floor to Mr. Ozan Murat Ergan, Commercial Counselor at Turkish Consulate in Milan. Mr.
Thank you very much, Ms. Alpa. This is Murat Ergan, the Commercial Attaché of Milan in Turkish Republic. I'm greeting everyone, all of the participants with respect. It has been like 1.5 years that I'm appointed as a commercial attaché here in Milan, and 2 months ago, Mr. Ahmet Erkan Çetinkayış has also been appointed as the commercial attaché. Now we are working together with him. So, as you know very well, as the commercial attachés, our main duty is to promote the current trade relations between two countries as much as possible. And when we look at the current situation between Italy and Turkey, we really see a very, let's say, balanced trade relations between each two parties. So, as you know very well, last year in 2021, the trade volume between the countries reached $23 million, and each parties made exports around $11.5 million. These were the highest numbers in history, and which also demonstrates that Turkish companies really have huge interest in Italian market. So, of course, it's a really correlated relations between these countries, you know, and it's very important for the companies who plan to make business in Italy and to take their steps correct and according to the needs of the market. It is very important. So, and when we take into account the current rate of acceleration, reaching $30 billion is not an unrealistic goal for our countries. So, actually, I'm sure that with your professional support and with our professional support, our companies will manage to reach their goals as soon as possible. So actually, I'm really thankful to everyone who organized this meeting, and we are here to support our companies when they need anything. So I can see that like around 30 companies has attended this meeting. So you also can share our information with them, of course. So we want to help as much as we can to our companies. So it's a big pleasure, and thank you very much for organizing this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murat. It was our pleasure. Now I want to give the floor to Mr. Giovanni Di Nardo, responsible of International Business Development at Italian Association of Foreign Trade. Mr. Giovanni.
Thank you. And hello, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. Hope you can see it now. And before starting my presentation, allow me to thank the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Izmir for the invitation to this event and for giving me the opportunity to talk about Italy and the organization I represent. So I'm Giovanni Di Nardo, International Business Development Manager, and I work for ICE, which is the Italian Association of Foreign Trade. So today I'm going to focus on three main topics during my presentation. Firstly, a quick overview of Italy and some important figures to show you what's going on in my country in these days. And then I would like to focus on business relations and opportunities between Italy, EU, and Turkey. And finally, a short presentation of the association to explain better what we do to support Italian and foreign companies to do business together. So let's start by saying that Italy has a population of around 6 million people. Our GDP has increased in the last year. You can see a plus 7.5% in 2021. Actually, it's not a big surprise, especially considering that last year, 2020, was a very negative year for everyone, including Italy, due to the pandemic. So this result isn't totally unexpected. But what is relevant and significant to show you is that Italy's export has exceeded 500 billions in 2021. So this was a great result because it set a new record for Italian exportation. And as well, we set a record for importation. You can see we went over 400 billion in 2021. So this was a great achievement for Italy, considering the situation we had and we still are facing in these days. So as a result, our trade balance was positive, as you can see. So let's now take a look at the Italian environment, economic environment. You can see we have in Italy around 5 million companies. Mainly in trade and services, you can see 60%. Then we have 25% in industry and 50% in agriculture. When you deal with Italian companies, you're mainly addressing to micro, small, and medium-sized companies, usually family-owned, so they are very small, where the average of the number of the employees goes from 5 to 15. Once again, what is important and significant to show you is that in 2021, only barely 200,000 companies exported. This means there is room for other companies to export or to start a business abroad. We had a growing number over the years. We have been seeing a growing number of occasional exporters. This is not exactly what we need. In my opinion, Italy needs to focus more on a growing number of regular exporters, because occasional exporters usually trade with closer countries like Germany, France, for obvious reasons. For example, for logistics, this is easier for these small companies to do business. So I think we need to focus on more regular exporters, because this means more regular exporters for Italy with a stable presence on international markets. And this means a great opportunity for Italy to grow more as a country. Despite these, let's say, obstacles, you can see that Italy in 2021 was the 8th major exporter, the 3rd in the EU, and the 11th major importer, the 5th in the EU. This means that Italy is a dynamic country, and we are not only export oriented, but we also care about importation. Talking about dynamism, you can see that I can say that Lombardy by far is the most active and dynamic region when we are considering doing business abroad, followed by Veneto, Piedmont, Tuscany, and Emilia-Romagna. I don't know if you know geographically Italy, but those are the northernmost regions. In fact, let's say that in the south, we mostly deal with the agricultural activities. We don't have so many companies, so import-export activity is not so strong in the south of Italy. And but generally, we can see that a positive outlook in Italy. We expect a growth in 2022, but also in 2023. An example of this is the Next Generation EU funds, which is a sort of recovery plan for companies, for EU companies, aiming at increasing competitiveness of our companies, especially in some crucial sectors like digitalization, innovation, and research and development. Here you can see the main trading partners for Italy in 2021. As I was saying, you can see in the first two places we have Germany and France. then it's interesting to notice that the USA are a good market for us for our export. As well, China is maybe the greatest market outside Europe for importation. Then you can see several EU countries, and then we finally find Turkey at 12th place, both for export and import. And we hope we can see Turkey at the first positions in the next years. These are the main import-export sectors for Italy. As you may know, we are well known for our food, fashion, and furniture, but we can't hide anymore behind these three sectors, because we have to be aware that pharmaceuticals, machinery, chemicals, and textiles, and also automotive are predominant in these years for our export. As well, you can see we import a lot of raw materials because we can count on natural resources. So we have to import basically raw materials like oil and gas, chemicals, metals, and textile products, and many other raw materials. This is because we have a great manufacturing and craftsmanship tradition, but we need to improve our import to get the best raw materials to deliver finished and semi-finished products to the world. That's complete my overview about Italy. So now I'd like to move on and consider trade relations between Turkey, EU, and Italy. But before, I'd like to give you our perspective of Turkey. When we talk about Turkey, we can see some pros. For example, Turkey is a gateway to the Middle East and Central Asia. We got proof of many companies doing business in these areas thanks to the relations we have with Turkey. So Turkey is a strategic trading partner, of course. And generally speaking, we have a positive relation with Turkey, both Italy and EU, if we consider the area. On the other hand, we have some cons. For example, Turkey is a competitor for some products. The first coming to my mind is the olive oil. Customs Union does not cover essential economic area, but it's a good agreement. Then we'll see later. And then, of course, over the last years, we can see currency fluctuations and debt crisis in Turkey. This leads to a high bankruptcy rate. But let's focus on the positive aspects of our relations. As I was saying, EU and Turkey are linked by a customs union agreement, which came into force on 31st December 1995. This agreement covers mostly all the sectors, all the products. Turkey has been also a candidate country to join the European Union since 1999, and now is a member of the Pan-Euro-Mediterranean Convention. Both these agreements aim at reducing custom duties and facilitating business between EU countries and foreign countries, of course. Talking specifically about the relation Italy-Turkey, we can see that Italy is the third importer from Turkey and the sixth exporter to Turkey. Other main Turkish partners for export are Germany, UK, Iraq, and the USA, of course. And talking about importation, you import a lot from China, Germany, Russia, and the USA as well. This chart shows the trade balance between Italy and Turkey in the last 3 years. You can see that we passed from a very negative balance in 2019 to a slightly positive balance in 2020 and 2021. Here you can see the effects, how the pandemic affected our trade relations in 2020, but we recovered pretty good in 2021. We are aiming at 10 billion euro, both in import and export. again, more specifically, what Italy and Turkey trade. This is the export from Italy to Turkey. We exported in 2021 a lot of machinery, metals, chemicals, and vehicles, also textile products. As well, we import a lot from Turkey. Metals, vehicles, and textiles are the major sectors, and also chemical, rubber, and plastic products. But what can we do to increase export or import between our countries? So an answer is illustrated in these next two charts. Here you can see from Italy to Turkey, there is a lot of potential. This map shows the potential, export potential from Italy to Turkey. When I talk about potential, it doesn't mean that the two countries are not doing business in those sectors, but it's to give you the idea that there is more space, more room in these sectors. For example, motor vehicles, so the automotive sector. Here you can see machinery, pharmaceuticals, plastic products, and some chemical products. So we have a huge opportunities in those sectors. As well, we can see from Turkey to Italy, huge opportunities also in the automotive sector, spare parts and accessories of motor vehicles, pharmaceuticals, footwear and textiles. So this is diversification, to find new opportunities between the two countries. I wanted to give my presentation to give you some technical advice when you do business with the EU, especially related to the agreements we have. For example, when we deal with the customs union, you need to issue an ATR certificate, which is not a certificate of origin, but it allows the free movement of goods between the two countries, even if the goods are from, for example, for a third country like China. And talking about the preferential agreement covers agriculture and coal and steel products. You have to issue this certificate, you see, which is a certificate of origin, and in this case the goods need to be Turkish if you are exporting from Turkey to Italy, or of European origin if we are exporting goods to Turkey. Can't be products from China or from the States or from any other country. In addition to this, you also have to pay attention to certification. So you need to know what kind of certification you need to export your products into the EU, because we have strict rules on this matter, as we have on labeling, because you have to provide your products with a translated label into the language of the country where you're going to sell the product. For example, Italian for Italy, Spanish for Spain, and so on. And also, I suggest giving a look at the requirements you need, especially for food, pharma, and cosmetic products you want to export to the EU, because those are tricky sectors when you deal with EU. Finally, I just want to give you some information, short presentation about AICE, which is the Italian Association of Foreign Trade. We are a non-profit and a private association. For over 75 years, we have been working to promote business relations between our members and the foreign companies. Our headquarters is in Milan, so 80% of our members are located in Lombardy region. We deal with very small, also individual companies, but we also have large and multinational groups. And basically, we support them to do business with worldwide, I'd say, yeah. Those are our services for our members. We are very strong in technical consulting, training, and promoting business opportunities abroad. We also take part to some of the most important trade fair globally. And then we are basically a gateway to enter the Italian market, because our goal is to create new business opportunities, as I was saying, between Italian and foreign companies. So we also help foreign companies interested in the Italian market to understand better how to enter the market, and also finding the right partner here. So in conclusion, this ends my presentation. These are my contact details. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll be happy to take any question you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Giovanni. Thank you for this excellent presentation. Now, I want to give the floor to Mrs. Özgün Altop, but before that, I want to inform you the speech of Mrs. Özgün will be in Turkish, but you can activate the subtitles in English by clicking below. Now, Mrs. Özgün Altop, legal advisor at Pollavini Altop Law Firm. The floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank all the participants, and I would like to introduce myself in English so everyone can understand. I'm Özgün Altop. I live in Italy since 11 years as a legal advisor, and I'm the founding partner of the law firm Pollavini Altop, which is based in Milano, and I'm also an arbitrator member of the Italian Association of Foreign Trade, appointed at 2020 for 4 years. In this presentation, I'm aiming to give some useful information about the procedure of how to establish, let's say, a company, a unit in Italy to the Turkish investors. That's why I prefer to do it in Turkish with Italian subtitles, so it can be understood very well. Okay, sorry, perfect. Okay. I will continue in English. İtalya'da, Turkish, sorry. İtalya'da limited şirket, şube ve temsilcilik açma hususunda sizlere genel ve prosedürsel bilgiler vereceğim. İtalya'da öncelikle nasıl yatırım yapılabilir? Doğrudan veya dolaylı olarak yapabilirsiniz. Doğrudan yatırım zaten İtalya'da bir oluşum kurmaktan geçmektedir. Bu şirket veya şube olabilir. Diğer dolaylı yatırım yolları da var tabii ki de. Örneğin distribütörlük sözleşmeleri yoluyla veya acenteler yoluyla, fakat aynı şekilde İtalya'da halihazırda kurulmuş bir şirkete ortak da olabilirsiniz, hisselerini devralabilirsiniz. Öncelikle neden İtalya'da yatırım yapabildiğimize bakalım. Türkiye ile İtalya arasında yatırımların teşviki ve korunması anlaşması imzalanmış olup bu 2014'ten bu yana yürürlüktedir. Yatırım tanımını incelersek eğer bu anlaşmaya göre yatırım yatırım ile ilgili ortaklık, hisse senetleri, tahvilat, hisse payı ya da şirketlere katılımın diğer şekilleri olarak tanımlanmıştır. Yatırımcı ise bir akit tarafın vatandaşlığına haiz ve diğer akit taraf ülkesinde yatırım yapmış olan, yapmakta olan ya da yapacak olan gerçek ve tüzel kişileri ifade etmektedir. Yatırımların teşviki ve korunması anlaşmasına detaylı bakarsak her iki akit tarafta diğer akit tarafın yatırımcılarını ülkelerinde yatırım yapmak amacıyla teşvik edeceklerdir ve bu yatırımlara kendi mevzuatları çerçevesinde izin vereceklerdir. Ve her iki akit tarafta diğer akit taraf yatırımcılarının yatırımlarını her zaman adil ve eşit muameleyi garanti edeceklerdir. Her iki akit tarafta ülkelerindeki diğer akit taraf yatırımcıları tarafından yapılan yatırımların yönetimi, idamesi, faydalanması, kullanımı, transferi, çevirimi, elden çıkarılması ve tasfiyesiyle bu yatırımların yapıldığı firmaların hiçbir şekilde haksız ve ayrımcı tedbirlere maruz kalmayacaklarını garanti edecektir. Dolayısıyla buradan ne çıkarıyoruz? Bir Türk yatırımcı İtalya'da İtalyan bir yatırımcı ile aslında eşit muameleye tabidir. Dolayısıyla eşit kurallara tabidir. Herhangi bir ayrım yoktur. Daha spesifik inceler ise en çok yatırım şekli limited şirket türüdür. Az sonra nedenini de açıklayacağım. Çünkü diğer opsiyonumuz anonim şirket olabilir ki çok fazla anonim şirket kurulumu yapmamaktayız. Limited şirket kurmak için en az 10.000 euro sermaye yatırmanız gerek. Bu kanuni sınır. Tabii bazı hallerde basitleştirilmiş limited şirket de kurulabilir ki bu aslında 1 eurodan 9.999 euroya kadar bir sermaye öngörüyor ama bu ayrı bir topik olarak ele alabiliriz. Bugün normal bir limited şirkete odaklanacağız. Normal İtalya'ya giriş yaparak ticari bir faaliyet yürütmek isteyen bir firmayı ele almaktayız şu aşamada. Sermaye tek ortak olması halinde tamamı kuruluş anında yatırılacaktır veya birden fazla ortak olması halinde ise sermayenin %25'ini yatırabilirsiniz. Bu sermayenin kalanını yatırmak için kanunen öngörülmüş bir azami süre bulunmamaktadır. Ama hani bizim tercihimiz ilk bilanço onaylanırken bu sermayenin yatırılmasıdır. Şirketi tek ortaklı, tek müdürlü kurabilirsiniz. Bu ortak ve müdürler Türkiye'de yaşayan, İtalya'da ikametgahı, oturum izni olmayan kişiler de olabilir fiiliyatta. Tabii belirli sektörler bazında farklılıklar gösterilebilir. Bazı ticari faaliyeti, aktivasyon işlemleri sırasında İtalya'da mümkün bir müdür arandığı haller olmaktadır. Örneğin lojistik sektöründe diyebiliriz. Örnekleme olması açısından. Şimdi sermayenin bizim için en önemli husus sermayenin yatırılması anıdır. Çünkü İtalya'da ne yazık ki şirketi kurduğunuz anda noter huzurunda sermayenin eğer tek ortaklığı ise şirket tamamı, eğer birden fazla ortaklığı ise en az %25'inin yatmış olması gerek. Bu yatırmak demek aslında fiziken kapitali bir banka hesabına yatırmanız demektir. Bunu ya müdür İtalya'da ikameti olan bir müdür ise müdürün hesabına yatıracaktır ortak ya da İtalya'da ikameti olan bir müdür yok ise noterin hesabına yatıracaktır. Önceden geçici banka hesabı açma mümkündü fakat artık bu bankalar tarafından uygulanan bir prosedür olmadığı için bu noterin hesabına yatırmayı tercih ediyoruz. Zaten başka şansımız da çok bulunmamakta. Tabii şunu da eklemek gerekir. Eğer birden fazla ortakla şirket kuracaksanız %25'ini yatırabilirsiniz. Ve eğer bu %25'i kanunen nakit işlem sınırının altında kalıyor ise ki bu da 1999 euro, o zaman bunu nakit olarak notere ibraz edebiliriz. Şirketinizi limited şirketi kurarken tabii tüzük ile ana sözleşme ile organlarını da tayin etmek durumundasınız. Organları, başlı organları ortaklar ve yönetim organıdır. Ortaklar dediğim gibi gerçek veya tüzel Türk kişiler de olabilir. Ortakların zaten şirkette çok müdahili bulunmamakta. Yani ortakların karar alması gereken haller aslında kanunda açıkça belirtilmiştir. Bunlar bilançonun onaylanması, yönetim kurulunun veya müdürlerin atanması, kar dağıtımı, tüzüğün değiştirilmesi, iştigal konusunun değiştirilmesi, ortaklık haklarına dair kararların alınması gibi durumlarda devreye gireceklerdir. Yönetim organı ise ya bir müdürden, bir yasal temsilciden diyelim yani oluşabilir. Birden fazla yasal temsilci atanabilir veya bunların müşterek veya müteselsil yetkileri olabilir ya da yönetim kurulu en az 3 kişiden oluşacak bir yönetim kurulu atanabilir. Tabii daha dinamik şirketlerde müdürler yetkilerini esasen üçüncü kişilere delege etmektedir. Bunu bir noter huzurunda çıkaracakları özel bir vekaletname ile yapabilmektedir. Daha sonra bizler bu vekaletnamenin eğer Türkiye'de çıkarılmış ise, çünkü Türkiye'de ikamet ettikleri için genelde müdürler veya ortaklar noter tasdikli vekaletnamenin yeminli tercümesini ticaret siciline sunuyoruz ve bunun kaydını yapıyoruz. Aynı zamanda denetim kurulu da atanabilir, ancak limited şirketlerde bu zorunlu değildir. Şirket kurulumu aşağı yukarı 10 gün sürmektedir. Bazı vergi numaralarının alınması, şirketin resmi elektronik posta adresinin aktive edilmesi, noterle olan görüşmeleri de hesaba katarsak 10 gün diyebiliriz. Noter huzurunda şirket ana sözleşmesi imzalandığı zaman aslında noter bunu 30 gün içerisinde ticaret siciline kaydetmekle, bildirmekle yükümlüdür, ama bu süre zaten hiçbir zaman gerçekleşmemektedir. Noter aynı gün içerisinde bildirimi yapmaktadır ve aşağı yukarı 5 gün, bir hafta içerisinde şirketiniz ticaret sicilinde görünmektedir. Bu işlemi yaparken aslında fiziken noterin nerede bulunduğunun çok bir önemi yoktur. Kurulumu istediğiniz şehirde, istediğiniz sicilde yapabilirsiniz. Yani örneğin Milano'daki bir noter ile huzurunda aslında atıyorum Bergamo'daki bir şirketin tescilini yapabilirsiniz. Limited şirketlerin yönetimi oldukça esnek. Dolayısıyla bu çok tercih ettiğimiz bir sermaye şirketi. Vergiler hususundaki detaylara ben çok girmeyeceğim. Az sonra mali müşavirimiz sizlere anlatacaktır, ama İtalya'da kurumlar vergisi %24 oranındadır ve buna ek olarak şirketler bölgesel üretim vergisi ödemektedir. Bu da tabii faaliyete göre ve bölgeye göre değişkenlik göstermektedir, ama %3,5 ve 5,30 arası olduğunu söyleyebiliriz. Şimdi size sadece anonim şirketin komplikasyonlarını ve limited'den farklarını anlayabilmeniz için biraz hukuki bir background sunmak istiyorum. Anonim şirketlerde sermaye asgari olarak 50.000 eurodur ve burada da yine tek ortak veya birden fazla ortak, gerçek veya tüzel kişi ortakla kurabilirsiniz. Yine sermaye yatırımı prosedürü aslında limited'le aynıdır. Sadece anonim şirketler daha çok yüksek yatırım gerektiren ve büyük ölçekli şirketler için tercih edilen bir türdür diyebiliriz. Çünkü denetimi birazcık daha katıdır ve bir iç denetim mekanizması kurma zorunluluğu bulunmaktadır. Aynı zamanda anonim şirketlerde ortaklar da şirket çalışanı olamamaktadır. Anonim şirketlerin yönetim yapısı ise birazcık daha farklıdır ve kanunda belirlenmiştir. Bunlar üç prototip açıklayabiliriz. Olağan yönetim şekli olabilir. Bu ortaklar genel kurulu yönetim organını ve denetim organını atamaktadır. Çift yönetim şeklinde ise yönetim kurulunun yanı sıra ortaklar genel kurulu tarafından seçilen denetim kurulu bulunur. Denetim kurulu 3 veya daha fazla üyeden oluşup en az bir üyenin denetmenler odasına kayıtlı olması şartı bulunmaktadır. Denetim kurulu yönetim kurulunun üyelerini atamaya ve görevlerini son vermeye ve bilançoyu tasdik etmeye yetkilidir. Tek yönetim şeklinde ise ortaklar genel kurulu tarafından yönetim kurulu atanır ve bunların içinden de ayrıca denetim kurulu üyeleri seçilir. Şimdi bu iki sermaye şirketinin farkına odaklanırsak aslında anonim şirketlerin ana sözleşmelerinde kanuna tam 108 adet atıfta bulunurken limited'lerde bu sayı 55'tir. Yani dolayısıyla limited'lerde aslında ana sözleşmeyi hazırlamak bize daha esnek bir alan sağlamaktadır ve bazı kuralları daha liberal, özgür bir şekilde belirleyebiliriz. Limited şirketlerde sermaye paylara bölünmüştür. Anonim şirketlerde ise hisselerden oluşmaktadır. Dolayısıyla limited şirketlerde ortaklar şirkete payları oranında müdahil olabilirken anonim şirketlerde ortakların hisse değerleri aynı olur. Her hissedar farklı miktarda hisse sahibi olabilir. Ancak karar mekanizmasını aynı oranda etkileyecek diye bir durum söz konusu değildir. Limited şirketlerin yönetimi neredeyse bir şahıs şirketinin yönetimi kadar basit. Anonim şirketlerde ise muhakkak denetim kurulu atanması gerekmektedir. Dolayısıyla anonim şirketlerin yönetim organları ortaklar kurulu, yönetim kurulu ve denetim kurulu olması zorunludur. Limited şirketlerde genel kurul kararlarına alternatif olarak ortakların açık yazılı onayı veya yazılı konsültasyonu da geçerli olabilecektir. Bu da bir aslında kolaylıktır. Anonim şirketlerde ise genel kurula çağrı usulü kanunda düzenlenmiştir. Limitedlerde ise bunu ana sözleşmede ortaklar belirleyebilmektedir. Anonim şirketlerde genel kurul toplantının hesabı oldukça detaylı düzenlenmiştir kanunda. Limitedlerde ise daha az katılık söz konusudur. Anonim şirketlerde kararların iptali için en az %5 oranında çoğunluk aranırken limitedlerde böyle bir çoğunluk aranmamaktadır. Tabii ki de en belirgin fark sermaye miktarlarındaki farktır. Limited şirketlerde müdürlerin sorumluluğu hususunda tüm ortaklar dava açabilirken anonim şirketlerde genel kurul kararı alınması gerekmektedir. Anonim şirketlerin faaliyetleri oldukça şeffaf olmalıdır. Dolayısıyla kararlar ve bunların alınışı da kamuya açık olmalıdır. Neticede anonim şirket çok dinamik bir business için tavsiye edilen bir tür olmayıp limitedlerde kararlar daha seri ve basit bir usulle alınmaktadır. Dolayısıyla bizler limited şirket kurulumu yapmaktayız genel olarak. Bunu da vekalet ile yapmaktayız. Çünkü noter huzurunda İtalyanca bilinmemesi halinde bir resmi evrak imzalanamaz ve bunun yeminli tercümesi de çok külfetli ve masraflı olduğu için bu işlemleri vekalet ile ortaklar adına gerçekleştirmekteyiz. Şubeye bakar isek şunu karıştırmamak gerek. Bazen firmalar İtalya'daki bir firmaya firmanın ortağı olmak suretiyle şirket kurmakta ve bunu şube olarak algılamakta, ama oysa ki bu tamamen yanlış, çünkü İtalya'daki şirket tamamen bağımsız, İtalyan hukukuna tabi bir şirket olarak değerlendirilmektedir vergi hukuku açısından da. Şube ise aslında Türkiye'deki şirketinizin İtalyan ticaret siciline Türk ünvanıyla İtalya'da vergi numarası alması ve İtalya'da bir adres merkez göstermesi suretiyle kaydından ibarettir. Dolayısıyla biz şubeyi kurarken İtalya'daki ticaret siciline Türkiye'deki şirketin ana sözleşmesine, ticaret sicil tasdiknamesine ve İtalya'da şube açılacağına dair kararın apostili yeminli tercümelerini sunmaktayız. Dolayısıyla aslında şube tam olarak bağımsız bir yapı değildir. Ana merkeze her zaman bağlı bir yapıdan bahsetmekteyiz. Ama hani vergi hukuku açısından bir limited şirketin yerine getirmesi gereken tüm yükümlülükleri yerine getirecektir ve gerekli tüm defterleri tutacaktır. Bilanço hariç. Çünkü şube dediğimiz gibi kendi bir sermayesi bulunmamaktadır. Türkiye'deki şirketinize bağlı bir yapıdır. Dolayısıyla sadece bir kar zarar beyannamesi hazırlayacaktır. O da bunda Türkiye'deki şirket bundan yararlanacaktır. Tabii bu vergi, işte KDV, gelir vergisi gibi zorunlu vergilerin ödenmesi ve beyannamelerin hazırlanması için de gerekli bir çalışma olacaktır. Şubenin tabii ki de yönetim organı yok. Çünkü dediğimiz gibi ana merkeze bağlıdır. Şubenin İtalya'da aslında Türkiye'deki tüzel kişi temsil ve ilzam yetkisine sahiptir. Dolayısıyla yapacağı işlemlerde aslında Türkiye'deki şirketi bağlayıcı olacaktır. Türkiye'deki şirket İtalya'da şube açma kararı alırken bu kararda aynı zamanda İtalya'daki şubenin temsilcisini de atamaktadır ve buna vereceği yetkileri de aynı kararda bahşetmektedir. Dolayısıyla aslında şubenin temsilcisi İtalya'da Türk firmayı temsil eden, Türk firma tarafından verilen yetkiler çerçevesinde hareket eden kişidir diyebiliriz. Yine bu kişinin de İtalya'da mukim biri olmasına gerek yok. Türk vatandaşı da olabilir, İtalya'da ikametgahı olmayan. Diğer bir yapı ise bu aslında yatırım olarak değerlendirilmeyen bir yapıdan bahsetmekteyim. Temsilcilik ofisi, çünkü temsilcilik ofisi sadece şirketinizin İtalya'da temsilinden ibaret promosyonel faaliyetler yürüten, Türkiye'deki şirketin sunduğu mal ve hizmetleri İtalya'da tanıtan, pazar araştırması yapan bir yapıdır. Dolayısıyla bir KDV numarası bulunmamaktadır. Fatura kesemez. Hiçbir ticari ve hukuki ilişkiye taraf olamaz. Hiçbir sözleşmeyi ana şirket adına imzalayamaz. Sadece ana şirketi temsil ve tanıtımdan ibarettir diyebiliriz. Tabii temsilcilik ofisinin de ticaret siciline kaydı gerekmektedir. Çok basit bir işlemdir bu. Yine aynı şekilde Türkiye'deki şirketin ticaret sicil tasdiknamesinin apostili yeminli tercümesini ve İtalya'da temsilcilik ofisi açacağına dair kararın yeminli tercümesini ticaret siciline noter aracılığıyla sunmaktayız. Başlıca İtalya'daki Türk firmalara bakar isek önemli yatırımlar çerçevesinde örneğin Arçelik, Lumberjack, Şişecam, Vestel, İSKO, iplik üretimi yapan, deniz ürünleri, Türkiye'den çok fazla yine deniz ürünleri de ticareti de söz konusudur. Çalık Denim, EAE Elektrik, Ekol Lojistik, Encore Construction, İnci Mimarlık, CVS Makina, Atasay Kurumculuk, Delimot, DESA, Eczacıbaşı, Kale Seramik, Twin Damat, Kastamonu Entegre, Yunsa, Foriba gibi örnekleme yoluyla sizlere sunabileceğimiz firmalar bunlardır. Şimdi en çok konu Türkiye'den İtalya'ya yatırım yapıldığı zaman oturum alınabilir mi sorusu. Bu oldukça problematik bir konu. Çok fazla detayına girmek istemiyorum ama sadece genel olarak Türkiye'den İtalya'da bir şirket açtığınız zaman İtalya'daki şirketin ortakları veya müdürü bu şirket üzerinden oturum talebinde bulunabilmesi için diyelim, şirketin en az 3 yıl boyunca faal olması gerekmektedir. Tabii bir takım personel transferi prosedürleri var. Bunlara girmemekteyim. Şu an sadece şirket kurulumu ve müteakiben oturum izni ne değinebilirim. Bunun dışında İtalya'da yatırımcı vizesi tanıtılmış olup bunun koşulları birazcık daha ağırdır ve daha yüksek boyutlu yatırımlara yöneliktir. Bilmiyorum, İtalya'da normalde her yıl iş kotaları açılmaktadır. Dolayısıyla İtalya'ya bir işçi gönderilmesi söz konusu olduğu zaman normal kalifiye olmayan bir işçi, ki zaten bu Türkiye'den gönderilemez. Çünkü Türkiye bu prosedürün uygulanmasına el verilen ülkeler arasında yer almamakta, ama yani işçi kotaları bulunmaktadır. Belirli bir sayı belirlenmektedir ve bu sayı çerçevesinde İtalya'ya Avrupa Birliği üyesi olmayan ülkelerden işçi getirilebilmektedir. Türkiye hariç. İşte bu kotalardan muafiyeti sağlayan bir prosedür ise bu yatırımcılar için öngörülen vize opsiyonudur. Bunun için 3 yol bulunmaktadır diyebiliriz. Ya İtalyan hükümeti tarafından ihraç edilecek tahvile en az 2 milyon tutarında yatırım yapmanız gerek, ki bunu en az 2 yıl boyunca muhafaza etmeniz gerek, kontrol edilen bir şeydir. Ya da İtalya'da kurulu ve faaliyet gösteren şirketin öz kaynağına dayalı finansal araçlarına en az 500 bin euro katkıda bulunmanız gerek ve bunu 2 yıl boyunca muhafaza etmeniz gerek. Veya ticaret sicilinin özel bölümüne kaydedilmiş inovatif startup şirketlere 250 bin euro tutarında yatırım yoluyla. Yalnız burada hani startup'ı yani yeni kurulan şirket tanımıyla karıştırmamanızı rica ederim. Çünkü bu inovatif startup ve bu hani teknolojik iştigal konusu teknolojiye yönelik olan, yeniliğe yönelik, yani mevcut bir durumdan farklı bir amaç ve ürün, hizmet sunan startuplara yönelik ayrı bir sicil var. Buraya kaydı yapılan şirketlere yatırımdan bahsetmekteyim. Aksi halde kamu yararına yapılan kültürel eğitim amaçlı imigrasyonun idaresine, bilimsel bir araştırmaya veya kültürel varlıkların korunmasına yönelik bir projenin desteklenmesi amacıyla en az 1 milyon euro tutarında bağış yapmanız gerekiyor. Hani dediğim gibi bunlar birazcık ekstrem hipotezler. Bizler daha çok şirket kurulduktan 3 yıl sonra oturum izni prosedürünü aktive etmekteyiz diyebiliriz. Tabii ki pratikte bazı sorunlar ortaya çıkmaktadır. İtalya'da bu tür prosedürler her şirketin merkezinin kayıtlı olduğu kaymakamlık bünyesindeki imigrasyon ofisi tarafından yürütülmektedir. Dolayısıyla bazı ofisler, örneğin Milano'daki ofisiyle başka bir şehirdeki ofisin tutumu farklı olabilir. Ben sizlere genel olarak İtalya'da şirket kurulumu hususunda genel bir bilgi aktarmaya çalıştım. Dinlediğiniz için teşekkür ediyorum. Galiba şu an sunumdan çıktım. Herhangi bir sorunuz olursa sunum sonunda üzerinden geçebiliriz.
Thank you very much for your Ms. Özgün, for your presentation with detailed informations. Now I want to give the floor to our final speaker, Mr. Lucio Ricci, financial advisor at CPR Tale STP. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me in this seminar and this webinar in respect of investing in Italy. Just 2 words about me and about CPR. I am tax consultant and chartered accountant. I used to work in KPMG for 12 years, and then in 2005 we incorporated this network, CPR Tale, which stands for Tax Accounting Legal. So we are more than 30 people here in Milano, involved in tax, accounting, and payroll. So we are able to give you any kind of assistance if you'd like to start any kind of activity here in Italy. Of course, our offices are based in Milan, but we can assist you all over Italy. I have prepared some slides to show you I don't know if you're able to see it now. So,
yes, we can see.
Okay, fine, thank you. So in this, let's say 5-10 minutes, I don't know how much time I have, I try to explain you in very synthetic way the main differences in taxation, accounting, and financial needs in respect of the main 3 hypotheses that you have when you would like to start a business activity in Italy. The most, let's say, simple way and flexible way is to establish a representative office, and basically is a physical office. You can open wherever you like here in Italy, in Milan or in another town. And basically this is not a taxable entity because of course, in order to be a taxable entity here in Italy, the definition of a taxable entity is a permanent establishment in the same definition provided by OECD, and is the same application of here in Italy. Basically, the taxable entity is an entity which carry out in part or involve the same activity of a parent company. So as long as the representative office does not carry out the same activity performed by the parent company in Turkey, this is not a taxable entity. And this is, of course, the cons of establishing a rep office in Italy, because you can start do basically auxiliary services or ancillary services, but you cannot run the same activity that the parent company in Turkish run. And as long as this condition is met, there are no taxes to be paid in Italy, no accounting issues, so you don't need to have any general ledger, you don't need to have any financial statement, and you don't need to file any income tax return. But basically, the rep office can hire employee, so it is possible to have employee in a rep office, and this employee, of course, can perform, let's say, ancillary services or look for potential business, and it is possible to meet potential client and strategic planning. But on the other way around, it is not possible to conclude a contract or to negotiate contract. It's just for understand the Italian market and Italian business. And please consider that in some cases, according to our previous experience, there are some rep office that after 2, 3, 4 years, basically start to do businesses in Italy. And please pay attention that in case of tax audit, if it is, let's say, assessed that the rep office carried out business activity, basically this rep office is liable to pay corporate tax, which is levied at 24%. So my advice is, if you'd like to start, let's say, to understand the Italian market, you can use this flexible way because it's easy, with limited cost, with no tax fulfillment and no accounting fulfillments. But please pay attention to run just, let's say, auxiliary services, or let's say looking for potential opportunity, but you cannot run a business activity. On the other way around, if you'd like to start a real business activity like the one you run in Turkish, you need to have one of the following two solutions. The first one is to establish a company, which is basically an SRL company, is the most flexible company in Italy, or to open a branch. A branch is a secondary office of a mother company in Turkish. I understand that Mr. Altop has already explained you the main, let's say, activity in order to incorporate a business in Italy through a company. So I would like just to highlight the main, let's say, the main condition of a company. Basically, it is the first one is to, when you would like to establish a company in Italy, you can plan your article of association in a flexible way, because it is possible to include any kind of clause to protect your investment, or to, let's say, to limit the transfer of quotas, or to establish particular, let's say, condition for the majority share of quota holders or for minority quota holders. It is possible to also to have quota holders meeting without any meetings, let's say, by circulating minutes to be signed by the quota holder. So it is a flexible way to run a business in Italy. The corporate bodies of an SRL basically are the following: the quota holders meetings, which basically is the assembly of the quota holders. It is necessary to meet at least once per year to approve the financial statement. And the most important, let's say, decision inside the company must be taken by the quota holders meetings. Basically, it is necessary to appoint the board of directors or the sole directors. It is necessary to approve the financial statement. It is necessary by the quota holders meeting to deliberate the distribution of profit. And basically, any kind of important decision must be taken inside the quota holders meeting. Of course, the quota holders meetings cannot run and cannot decide about the business of the company subsidiary, and this must be done by the administrative bodies and to the person who is delegated the managing and control of the company. Basically, this can be done by a board of directors, which is basically is a body composed, generally speaking, by 3 to 6, 7 members, but it's possible also to delegate the power of management of the company to a sole directors, or it is possible also to delegate the power of administration to two disjunctive directors, basically two directors which they have the power to run the business in an autonomous way. In case of a board of directors, it is possible also to delegate a part of the power of a board director to one or more managing partners. It is possible to appoint as directors also persons who are not quota holders of the companies. And of course, any kind of power delegated to managing directors or sole director or disjunctive directors must be deposited at the Chamber of Commerce in order to let other third parties know which are the power delegated to the directors. Okay, a company, if let's say without entering in very complicated details, you need to know that in some cases it is necessary to appoint also a board of statutory auditors or auditors. This is for bigger SRL company. The board of statutory auditors has to check the legal requirements, so the company has to respect, of course, the Italian law. It is also necessary to have a sort of management control and has to test the proper organization. The auditors, like let's say all over the world, they have to to check the conformity and the regularity of accounting books and has to issue an opinion with respect to the financial statement. The company has to prepare the financial statements every year, and this financial statement is composed by a P&L, a balance sheet, and notes, and must be deposited at the Chamber of Commerce. And in addition to that, the company has also to have the general ledger, VAT books, inventory books, and all the other books provided by Italian Civil Code. So it is necessary to have a tax consultant here in Italy. Otherwise, it's not possible to manage these kind of things by let's say, a Turkish consultant. In respect of dividend, every year when it is approved, the financial statement, is it possible to distribute dividends. Please remember that there is a withholding tax when the dividends are distributed. The internal one is levied at 27%, but it is possible to reduce this withholding tax at 15% according to the double tax treaty signed between Italy and Turkey against the double taxation. Okay, the branch basically is not an independent legal entity, but is the same Turkish company which opened a secondary office here in Italy. A branch is a typical case of a permanent establishment because the branch can run the same business activity of a parent company which is based in Turkey. So it is possible to provide and give services, to sell goods and whatever you like. On the other way around, please remember that the branch is, since is not an autonomous legal entity, is fully responsible for the activity performed in Italy and binds the parent Turkish company, because of course it's the same Turkish company which runs the business here in Italy. It is necessary also to appoint a preposto, which is basically a sort of, let's say, legal representative of the branch. But on the other way around, the branch does not need to have any board of directors, any quota holders meeting, any statutory auditors. So it's more easy and flexible to run the business through a branch. The branch does not need to have any official financial statement. What is needed is just to have a P&L, a profit and loss. And this is just for tax purposes, because at the year end, also the branch, it is requested to pay taxes in Italy according to the profit generated in Italy. This P&L is not subject to any legal control or any accounting control. It's just prepared by the preposto and it is just reported in the corporate tax. In respect of dividend, which basically are not dividend, but basically the profit generated by the branch in Italy, it is possible to distribute or transfer this profit from the branch to its parent company based in Turkish without any withholding tax. This is another advantage for the branch. In respect of taxation, the first synthetic things that you need to know is that there are no particular differences between the taxation of a subsidiary and the taxation of a branch. The main difference is that a subsidiary, a company, is taxed on a worldwide basis. On the other way, the branch is taxed only in respect of a profit and taxable profit generated in Italy. The starting point for corporate tax in order to establish what is the amount of taxable base is the financial statement, official financial statement prepared for the company subsidiary, and the P&L prepared for tax purposes for the branch. And this is the starting point. Then there are some adjustment, positive and negative adjustment according to the Italian tax code. And basically this adjustment, of course, are needed in order to, let's say, provide, for example, some non-deductible cost. For the most easy example is the car. The cost for the car is not 100%, but it's deductible only at 25%. So you can have 100% cost related to cars in your P&L, but from a tax point of view, there is an adjustment of 75 because only 25 is deductible. After having performed this adjustment, it is possible to have the taxable base, and the nominal tax rate is left at 24%. This is a corporate tax which is called IRES, and the payment is expected to be done by the June 30 of the following years. Basically, the same things are also for a regional corporate tax. The starting point is the gross production margin. So this is a particular, let's say, taxable base, which basically is composed by the total revenues less operative cost, but without considering accruals, financial cost and revenues, and extraordinary cost and revenues. For personal cost, there are specific rules for deductions. So basically, this taxable base, the starting point, is subject to the same adjustment that we have discussed before, and then we arrive at the taxable base for regional corporate tax. The nominal tax rate in Lombardia is 3.9, and the payment of this tax is expected by the end of June of the following years, like the corporate tax. Please, for your information, remember that subsidiary and branches are subject to transfer price rules. Basically, these rules provide that for the intercompany transaction carried out between an Italian company or an Italian branch in respect with its parent company based in Turkish, this transaction must be done and must be performed at fair market value, of course, which means basically with the same, let's say, terms and conditions that would be put in place between independent parties. Of course, this rule is directed to avoid the, let's say, the subtraction of taxable income from business entities located in Italy within transaction carried out with the parent company. So in order to have the proper transfer price approach, it is necessary to, let's say, prepare transfer price report in order to, let's say, implement a proper, let's say, transaction at fair market value. And finally, in these final slides, I report the main differences between subsidiary and branch. Basically, a subsidiary, unlike a branch, has its own independent organization and structure under Italian law, and this, please consider this is a very important point. So you need to have corporate body in Italy, a board of directors, and you need to have, in some cases, a statutory auditors body, and you need to have a quota holders meetings. It is necessary also to prepare the official statutory financial statement, which must be filed at Register of Company. It is necessary also for an SRL company to have a minimal capital stock, which is basically 10,000 euros. A subsidiary, for a subsidiary, there are, let's say, some rules in order to protect the capital stock, of course, which means that in case of losses, which are higher than 1/3 of a capital stock, or in case of losses higher than 10,000 euros, the quota holders needs to recapitalize the company. And this third bullet point is very important, because in case of a subsidiary, it is possible for the quota holders to limit any kind of liabilities to the amount of the capital stock contributed, and this is not possible for branches. In case of dividend distribution for subsidiary, there is a withholding tax. In case of profit distribution of a branch, there are no withholding tax. The branch has no legal independent status, so is fully liable with its parent company. And of course, for the branches, there are minor fulfillments and minor costs in respect of running the business. And the branch is not obliged to draft any financial statement, but there is only the need to prepare a P&L for tax purposes. And there are no fulfillments to deposit this P&L. And for branches, of course, there are some, let's say, minor fulfillments in respect of registration and publicity to be done by at the local Chamber of Commerce. I have finished my presentation. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or request of clarification, I'm here at your disposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lucio, for your presentation and for giving us very useful information about investing in Italy. And now we can, if you have questions, you can use the chat box, or you can ask directly to our speakers. Now I see two questions for Mrs. Altop. First one is it possible for a Turkish contractor to get a project in Italy to bring workers from Turkey to a certain number? You mentioned about a quota, but not including Turkey. Ms. Altop?
Actually, it is possible, but it's not in practice. It's very hard, because in such case, okay, you are out of the quotas. So there is this procedure foreseen by the immigration law, which entitles the contractor, which was the Italian law, the Italian company, to bring the, let's say, workers of the Turkish company who gets the project, let's say, who will fulfill the project in Italy. But this request should be made by the Italian company who signed this project with the Turkish company. So in reality, the Italian companies don't want to proceed with such a request, because they will need to ask it from the Sportello Unico, which is like this immigration office in that city where the company has its legal office, and they also have to submit a lot of documents proving where the workers will stay in Italy, their accommodation, and they have to guarantee that all the social security liabilities are fulfilled. So in theory, yes, but in practice, it's difficult, let's say. Am I clear?
Thank you very much. It was a question by Ahmet Erkan Çetinkayış. And I see another question, Ms. Altop. Can't we get a residence permit after setting up a company? Are we going to Italy with a visa? Does it get easier to get a visa?
Unfortunately, you cannot get a visa even if you're a shareholder or a legal representative of a company, because what the law says that the company has to be active for at least 3 years. So in such case, the best option is to get a visa for affair. So, which will be, of course, a short-term visa, which will not allow you to stay in Italy more than 90 days. Obviously, when I say, to be honest, when you establish a company in Italy, it's you should already have, you should already not have the idea of also residing in Italy, I can say, or you will program small visits, or you will appoint, if it's a very busy business, you will need to hire someone resident in Italy to the company.
The third one, if you like, I can answer, Özgün. If a branch is not earning by commercial activity, how can the mother company finance their expenditure? It's very simple. Basically, when you decide to open a branch in Italy, you need to open also a bank account in the name of a Turkish mother company. So basically, it's a simple transfer of money between, let's say, a bank account based in Turkish to a bank account based in Italy. And this is not a loan, it's the same legal entity who is transferring money from Turkey to Italy, okay? So you don't need to have any particular fulfillments. On the other way around, if you decide to establish a company in Italy, you have an SRL company. So when there is a transfer of money from Turkey to SRL company, you need to decide which is the title of this transfer. It could be, let's say, a capital contribution, capital stock increase or capital contribution, or it could be a loan. So you need to have a loan to be put in place between the parent company based in Turkish and the subsidiary based here in Italy. And also the last one is, for me, I think, is there an additional audit requirement if an SRL has exceeded certain turnovers, such as for 2 years more than 5 million euros? Yes, it is. But now the legislation is very complicated because basically there is a new law, which is basically a bankruptcy law, basically, which has been introduced in Italy in 2019 and then postponed the introduction for a long time due to the COVID emergency. So this law will be put in place basically next year, April 2023. According to this law, there are new parameters for appointing collegio sindacale or auditors in an SRL company, and basically is one of these three parameters, which are 2 million assets, 2 million turnover, or 5 employees. And this will be, let's say, the parameters in 2023. Nowadays, there are the old one, basically is not this, today is not necessary because the old parameters provided by Article 2435 are basically higher than this amount, are basically 4 million euros for assets, 8 million euros for turnover, and 10 employees. But in the let's say in 1 year's time, basically this limit will be reduced to the one that I've mentioned before.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lucio. If there are some other questions to our speakers. I think we don't have.
I can thanks to all of you, Mr. Murat, Lucio, Giovanni, Özgün. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for the very interesting speech. And also, due to the questions, we understand everyone the interest for this topic is very high. Thanks to your presentation, there is some question. Usually in a webinar, everyone is silent. So now we have some questions, quindi I am very happy. Happy also for the result, because we have many information. I think we can share your presentations to the participant if they need it. They can send an email to Erin Alpara, and Alpara, Mrs. Erin, she will share your information. Then in this presentation, we have also your email and address, so they can forward to you some other question or some other information they need. Thank you, all of you, and we can maybe update this webinar in next time with some other informations, because like we said in the beginning, the world is changing very fast, so many things can happen between now and also 2023. So we can maybe in next month, we can have an update or one step more of this webinar. Thank you to all of you. Thank you, all the participants also.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.